The thing that was actually interesting that maybe is worth bringing up in this venue specifically is about 2 years into the process, I was struck with the parallels between the Olympic athlete community and the soft community. And it's not like I'm the only one that figured this out. Other people have recognized this. In fact, I've talked with many people who figured this out, and I felt at times like my job as a physician, and particularly sports medicine physician, focused on really my mantra always is sustaining the optimal health and performance of our athletes. And that's what I did in my job at the Special Mission Unit. And that's physical and mental performance, optimizing and sustaining health. And that's the same thing we were doing with the Olympic team. So it turned out to be like this, 1 foot in 2 parallel universes doing very much the same things. But I chose to go to the 82nd Airborne. I went and I ended up having great experience. I got to go to Ranger School, I got to go to Young Master School, I deployed to the tail end of Panama, I went to the first Gulf War as a med platoon leader, got a chance to command at Bragg, and then in that process I decided, okay, now I want to go to med school. It was one of those things that it took me 10 years to do it. I wasn't a pre-med major, so here I am, a psychology major, which is kind of ironic now, and I'm not tall, I'm like 5'9", right? So anyway, I sent pictures of me with my platoon sergeant and some other short folks, not intentionally, it just turned out that way. So she got the impression I was much taller than I am. And when she flew down to meet me eventually, I picked her up at the Fayetteville Airport. I was stationed at Bragg, and she had never flown before. And she's a college student at the time. I'm going to out her on this thing. So she didn't even tell her parents what she was doing. She just hopped a flight to Fayetteville, North Carolina, told her friends, and I picked her up, kind of sight unseen type of thing. And the first words out of her mouth were, "Jim?" Like kind of inquisitive. "I didn't know you'd be so scrawny." That's quite literally the first words my wife ever said to me. And I just grabbed her bag and threw it in the back of my truck, and I was like, this is going to be a long weekend.
So while you're at Bragg, the SMU, the first time, the second time, when did you first experience or learn about stellate ganglion blocks? And I'd love to hear the backstory of that.
Yeah, so stellate ganglion block is my life's work now, which is really funny because this is what I do, and this is like my passion, and it's a treatment for PTSD and anxiety and TBI and a few other things, but it's grown into this thing that is, I don't want to say consumed by, because that sounds pathologic. And at that time, a longtime colleague and friend of the community, Sean Mulvaney, was working in the SOC unit, and he was the one who gave a talk on stellate ganglion block for PTSD. And I remember listening to it, and then not listening to it, because it just seems so weird to me. And I don't even mind saying this. In fact, I say it all the time when I talk to other people about this, because I think when somebody starts talking about sticking a needle in your neck to treat PTSD, and if you've never heard of that before, it just sounds weird. It really does. You don't even have to sugarcoat it. It just sounded weird. I remember taking notes and going, that's weird, and kind of blowing it off. I really did. And what happened was this procedure, stellate ganglion block, it's an injection in the side of the neck using a needle and ultrasound guidance. But it's been around for 100 years. It's not new. It was performed in the 1920s. So when I heard about it, it wasn't like some science fiction thing. It was like, oh, this is an older procedure that's been used for pain reasons for many, many years, and someone has discovered that it could be used for PTSD. But what it was a story of a young girl, a young lady, I think she was in her 20s, who was assaulted and had gunshot wounds to her shoulder. And she was assaulted, and as a result of that, had horrible PTSD from being assaulted with a weapon. And then she had horrible shoulder pain from these gunshot wounds. And her PTSD was so bad, she couldn't leave her apartment. She couldn't talk to a psychologist. She was just done, debilitated from fear and post-traumatic stress. Well, in the process of treating her shoulder pain, somebody uses this kind of old-fashioned treatment. I think I can say that. Older, not a fancy treatment that's been around for a long time, called stellate ganglion block, where they inject local anesthetic along a nerve in the side of the neck to help dial down what we call sympathetically mediated pain, or pain that is kind of out of proportion to the damage that has been caused. Well, lo and behold, which is fun to say. Her PTSD symptoms got way better, and the story's kind of fascinating. So right around that time, I had a couple of guys, and like a lot of things, someone walks into my office and grabs me by the collar, or Doc, you got to pay attention. There's something going on here. And it was really that. It was like one of the guys in the unit said, hey, I know a guy who got treated, and this thing's the real deal. You better pay attention. So then instead of, being closed-minded and shutting my notebook with my, arrogance, I only practice evidence-based medicine. I think that was a real good point in terms of the culture of the unit is, hey, if you're going to be a doc supporting really important people, they say something, you should listen, right? Like there's something going on there.